Hey there. Hi there. Ho there. There is the Bow River, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And here is your hippie. I have not done a river walk, talk and talk in a long time on this channel because river walks are now on my non-adult only channel, and a few of the river walks, I'll put a link right there. And you saw the title, Will He or Won't He? I am talking about Carney. Will he call an election here in Canada this Sunday night? I'm putting this video up Sunday morning, so you only have a little while. But the title still holds really good if he does call an election. And you're seeing this on Monday, I gotta be really careful. I don't have my cleats on, and the river's still ice. If he called the election, will he or won't he continue to be the Prime Minister? Will he or won't he win the election? I have quite a few things I could say about that, don't you? And hang on a second. This is a really bad spot for me to talk to you from because it's just too icy. Let me get a different spot where I can have a toke away from people and have a little talk with you. And yes, I've warned you all. It is I'll tell you in a minute. Hang on one sec. First, let's have a little look to the east of me. Big chunks of ice starting to pull up on the side. The river getting wider and very pretty. The spring is coming and the color of the water is absolutely beautiful. So, let me talk about the elephant in the room. Oh, and this is as close as I can get. I'm not stepping on that ice. I could go through. My God, that water is absolutely gorgeous. So, squirrel. Where? Folks. Oh boy. I'll leave that there. The elephant in the room. Politics. Some of you don't like politics on this channel, but this is by far, remember I'm 63, I've been voting for an awful lot of years, and this is the most important election in my lifetime. I can't speak for lifetimes prior. I don't remember them. But very seriously, until this election is over and Canada has an elected Prime Minister, I have to dabble my toes in the river of woes politics. I have to do what I have to do for my family, for me, and for you. Now, if you're American or anywhere else, I have so many people from around the world that watch this channel. I'll just fill you in on a little bit. Is our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of the last 9.5 years decided to quit during the middle of his, well, not the middle, near the end of his third term as our Prime Minister. His popularity was in the tank. As most liberals are around the world right now, the common sense revolution is hitting and hitting beautifully, and I love it. But I digress. He quit. Some say he retired. I say he quit. He quit rather than face an election where he'd lose. rather than standing up for the mandate that he said was so important, that has decimated Canada over the past decade. And in his place, the party elected about 1,000 people out of the 41 million Canadians, almost Americans. About 1,000 people voted him, Carney, as the new leader of the Liberal Party. And therefore, our Prime Minister, without ever going through a federal election, just a party election. So very, very much like they shoved Kamala down the Americans' throat, they're trying to shove Carney down ours. And I ain't going to let it happen. I think he'll call an election. I think it'll happen. I'm almost 100% sure that if this goes up Sunday night, an election will be called either for April 23rd or May 5th. And hopefully, therefore, May 15th, my birthday, I will be celebrating with a new Prime Minister, a Conservative Prime Minister, bringing common sense back to Canada and bringing back the promise of Canada. Canada was supposed to and has always been a place where if you work hard and you have a good job and you raise a good family, you can afford a house and a car and a vacation. Even in my retirement, I can't even I can barely afford the house I live in, and I cannot afford to drive. No way I could afford a car. And no way can my 28-year-old granddaughter afford to own a house. In fact, she can't even afford, her and her husband can't even afford to rent one. And they're lucky enough, like many Canadians, they're doubling up in family. So, will he or won't he? I hope he does. And regardless if he does, I do not think... There's some people out there saying... there's a few that I follow that talk about the polls, the election polls. And they're always all over the place. And why? Because you cannot trust them. Statistics be damned, I tell you. I took statistics in university, at MacEwan University. I took statistics. And you know what? There's a couple of Canadian geese coming my way. And you know what? You can make those polls say anything you want them to make. That doesn't make them make sense. And I'd say ignore the polls. Prior to Carney, the Liberals had about 20% of the vote and the Conservatives about 50%. And that's going to be the election, my friends. That's going to be what it is. It doesn't matter that Carney's there, but folks, now I speak to you Liberal Canadians. I love you too. I disagree with some of your ways of thinking, but we need it. We need every point of view, because with every point of view, common sense can be derived. It may not equal what you think or what I think, but if derived at properly, then it makes sense for all of us. And so, I ask you Liberal people, don't do the, oh, I can't vote Liberal this time because they screwed up this country so bad, so you throw a vote to the Green Party or to the NDP or to the Bloc Québécois because you just can't vote for the Conservative. This is the one time you need the Conservative. This is the one time a good analogy. You've been in a school that's full of bullies and gang members and assholes, and people are beat up all the time. And in comes a new principal, and he gets rid of teachers. He starts calling the cops on the students. He cleans up the school. You may not like how, but you like that which he did. You just don't like the way in which he does. And that's the problem in the United States right now. The only people that oppose Trump just oppose the way he's doing, not what he's doing. The whole world needs a bit of a cleanup after this last decade of over-compassion and under-common sense. So I hope and I pray that maybe someday, that you all will, if you're in the U.S., no, we're not going to be one of your states, but if we were one big frickin' state, you wouldn't like us very much, because we'd be pretty powerful, 40 million people, size of California, people-wise. But I'm nicely high. I'm going on too much. I'm going to digress. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to wish you well, and stay tuned at the end, because I plan to, if I've got a bunch of, I plan to go finish this joint and go feed my birds. And if I get to feed the birds, at the end of this, I'm saying goodbye. It's 10 minutes and 10 seconds right now. Add an intro, maybe 10 and a half. If it's 11 or 12 minutes, there's a bit of music at the end and a few birds for you all. Because the world is full of turmoil, but the world is also full of peace, beauty, love, and harmony.